As Sydney, Australia is getting ready for the next Olympic Games, a sport is poised to be included in the year 2000. Sydney's beaches will offer a perfect site for surfing, and recent meetings with Olympic officials have put the sport on the minds of those decision makers in high places. Duke Kahanamoku, the two-time Olympic gold medalist and father of modern surfing, would be proud. The International Surfing Association's World Surfing Games are underway at Surf City, Huntington Beach, California, USA. 36 countries compete to win the hearts of their respective nations and open the hearts of Olympic officials right here on Fox Sports. Hello everybody and welcome to Huntington Beach, California, USA for the International Surfing Association's World Surfing Games. Hello, I'm your host Todd Harris, and this is a truly international event. We've got competitors from over 36 countries vying for top honors, and the buzzwords this week at Huntington Beach, California have been Sydney and the Olympics. With IOC members here taking a look at this sport, it is possibly the next Olympic sport. Before we go any further, let's check in with the rest of our broadcast team. Let's go down to the beach where Mike Lambresi is standing by. Mike.
Thanks, Todd. In Huntington Beach, or better yet, Surf City, USA has played host to numerous events. Some of the best surfers from around the world have gotten together in Huntington Beach for the biggest events for over 3 decades. Here we are again for the World Championships in Huntington Beach. Also, besides that, this is a great venue for competition. The waves break on the outside, you have a nice reform, and you get the big impact, high explosive maneuver on the beach. The crowd can really get right up close and feel the energy, and beyond that, they can get out of the pier and they can see what's going on from behind. They can feel like they're right in the lineup. Huntington, a great place for a contest. Back to you, Todd.
Also joining our broadcast trio is former surfing world champion Australian Peter Townend, who will be reporting throughout the show. PT.
I'm down here on the beach at the ISA World Surfing Games, and if you look behind me, you can see the flags of all the countries. I remember when I was a young guy back in the 70s and I got on a plane from Australia to come over here to represent my country, Australia, how important that was. And this is all about your team, more so than the individual and the spirit. And today you're going to see a lot of emotion.
This trophy was not something solicited, it was just voluntarily donated and presented by Mr. Antonio Samaranch for the team world champion for the first time ever, an Olympic trophy for surfing.
I really feel like it's a very special moment in my life, and I think it's a very special moment for surfing's life. And being in this place, it's quite being in Huntington Beach, kind of like the heart of California surfing. And having the games here is really, it's almost like a lifetime dream. The games are simply put together as a way of uniting the surfing countries in the world. We got 35 delegations, we never got so many. Around almost 700 athletes and participants. So this is a very, it's like a record-making, history-making event for us, for surfing. So that's just a couple of the aspects. And I think one of the other things is the ceremony of the sands that we saw today was a way of, we don't just come together and surf. We come together and bring the surf culture, the surf tribe around the world.
As you know, there's 36 countries here, and we've won this event as a team event for the last 8 or 10 years. So we're one of the favourites in the event. Of course, always hard to come here to the United States, beat the home team, but and Hawaii are always a wonderful team here, and the Brazilians these days have got their act really together and very professional team. So competition's as tough as it ever was. I think we can run a very good event in Australia. Sydney itself has 26 really good suburban beaches right in the middle of the city, and there's no other sport that can really highlight that feature of Sydney better than our sport.
One of the things I would love to have had would have been to have won a gold medal, but my competitive career is long past now. I've been retired now for 7 years, and I certainly have no intention of getting back into it, but I'm really looking forward to seeing a surfer standing up there on the podium at the Olympics with a gold medal around his neck. It'll be a great thing for the sport to see.
Well, this isn't really a test or anything like that the IOC is giving. It's just one of the many things that the IOC considers when they want to look at a new sport to go in the Olympic Games. So they have many, many other factors that are considered, but one of them is how are the competitions run? Is it a good organization? Do the people seem to know what they're doing when they're doing it? And so far, I think we've passed with flying colors so far.
Surfing in the Olympics. Hopefully this event will push us that much closer to the goal. But for now, sit back. We have 2 hours of exciting finals action, starting with the men's bodyboarding when we return. The World Surfing Games are brought to you by SEMA, Surf Industry Manufacturers Association, and by the ISA, working for the future of surfing. For corporate involvement, please call. Welcome back to the 1996 ISA World Surfing Games at Huntington Beach, California. Todd Harris along with Mike Lambresi, and we are set to go in the men's bodyboard finals.
That's right, Todd. And from Puerto Rico, we've got Luis Benitez. From Australia, Steve McKenzie. From South Africa, we have Neil Stevenson. And from Brazil, we have two-time world champion Guilherme Tamega.
Before we get to our men's final, we want to go back and have a look at our women's bodyboard final highlights. The women's bodyboard final showed international colors as the 4 women heat represented 4 different countries. With excellent conditions prevailing, wave selection wasn't a problem for any of the finalists. The difference emerged as the judges scored on individual wave performances. Daniela Freitas, 23, from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, accomplished what others did not as she earned scores above 7.0. 2 of her 4 scoring waves, a 7.33 and a 7.17, helped edge Daniela past the others for the win in the women's bodyboard division.
Daniela, congratulations on your great performance out there in the finals. How did you find the good waves?
I don't know, I just tried to get the sets. It was kind of hard to find, it's kind of mushy, but I was lucky. God helped me, so I'm stoked.
The Brazilian team is doing very good, and you girls are having a big part to do with that.
Yeah, we've been trying hard. We practice a lot. I've been practicing a lot the whole year for the World Tour and now for this contest. I'm really happy to be here and join the Brazilian team.
The final results look like this: Freitas, Gomez, Slater, and Koike. We are set to go in the men's bodyboard final. It's Tamega, Stevenson, McKenzie, and Benitez. You'd have to look to Guilherme Tamega from Brazil, but in these conditions, anything can happen, and Steve McKenzie's got the first wave.
Well, leave it to the Australian to be first up and riding. The Australians are known for their aggression. The finals of the event, and it's the Australian coming out of the gate quick and fast.
Let's talk about the conditions. How do they work for the bodyboarders, and how does it differ against the surfers?
Well, the bodyboarders, there's a bit of a flat spot out here that they're going to have to work through, and it's a little harder on the bodyboard. But once they get to the inside, it's really hollow. You can see them pulling into the tube right there, and they have a lot of opportunity to throw that one big barrel roll. So this is optimum conditions on the inside.
Neil Stevenson from South Africa gets the second wave, and here's the big gun, Guilherme Tamega.
Well, being a two-time world champion, that's what you get right there, big moves. The Brazilian knows what it takes, and he has got to be pumped up to be representing his country here today.
Tamega trying to do what Daniela Freitas has already done, and that's take home a world title. Tamega is very well known on the North Shore of Oahu, the big wave contest there every January. He has won that before, does battle with guys like Mike Stewart, but here at Huntington Beach, Mike, it's kind of a different strategy. The waves aren't nearly as big as Hawaii's.
No, they're not, so it's really going to be a test of their skills and of their ability to put things together in conditions that aren't the most ideal. And you can see there that Guilherme got a good score because he put the board so high up out of the back of the wave. But Luis Benitez from Puerto Rico here, a good looking set. You can see him pull up and really get upside down and pull the board out. You can hear the fans in the background. You know, they've got their own country cheerleaders on the beach waving the flags. The international flavor of this event, very strong.
As we go to commercial, we take a look at Luis Benitez paddling back to the lineup. We'll have more from Huntington Beach after this. Welcome back to Huntington Beach, California, the 1996 ISA World Surfing Games. Todd Harris along with Mike Lambrisi and Peter Tannen, and we are into the final of the men's bodyboarding division. Our current standings look as follows: Guilherme Tamega out in front, followed by Neil Stevenson, Steve McKenzie, and Luis Benitez from Puerto Rico. Right now, you'd really have to give the edge to Tamega. Not only is he very good in the big waves, but he's doing quite well today in these smaller conditions.
That's right, Todd. He's also got a lot of experience, and you can see him here up on another wave, getting a lot of maneuvers in before the wave actually gets to the inside critical part. And behind him, Luis Benitez really getting the crowd excited. You can see him doing the same thing Guilherme did, setting up for the inside for that big move, because they realize in a final like this, you really have to be able to pull off that one big move on that one big set if you want to get the big win.
Tamega pulling off some great maneuvers, some El Rolos, and how quickly he can get that board around and back to the front. Continues to rack up the points. Luis Benitez not to be outdone, bringing his ride all the way into the shore, but it looks like Tamega is going to get the better of that two exchange as he goes back out into the lineup.
Well, Todd, these guys didn't get here without being the best, and one thing you'll notice is that there is a constant flow when they're on the wave. They go from one maneuver to the next, to the next, to the next, until they are literally at the end of that wave. I mean, it's just one after another in rapid fire.
Tamega and Benitez both putting together a well-choreographed session there. First, Tamega with several spins, and then he transitions right into the El Rolo. He picks up an 8.83, the highest score thus far.
Well, that's a big-time score, and remember, you can only get a 10 if you have a perfect wave. That means he is 1.17 under a perfect score. That is something that is going to be tough to come up against in the rest of this final from his competitors.
They are scored on their best four of the heat. Here's Neil Stevenson. Definitely needs to drop that 1.50. His first wave looks like he's got a good wave to do it with.
Well, Todd, you'll notice the difference for Neil is on the outside. Instead of doing the consecutive 360s on his belly, he actually got the barrel roll. That makes his wave stand out. A reverse on the inside, he comes around it trying to get to more open face than he does. Misses maybe a little bit of the critical part of the wave, but nevertheless, he makes up for it by doing consecutive rolls on the inside. this guy showing that he has got what it takes to challenge for the title.
Neil Stevenson doing quite well on his wave, and he takes it all the way into the shore. Still plenty of time left, and he goes back to the lineup.
Well, you can hear his country on the inside. You can imagine they're waving the flag, but you can hear him screaming. That has to really get you pumped up. As you can see, he's right on the shore. He's really close. They could reach out and almost touch him from where they're standing when he finishes this wave, and he gets a 7.33.
Strong wave for him as the Aussies wave the flag, and their man is up and riding. It's Steve McKenzie.
It sure is, and he knows he needs to do something big. He's currently in 4th place. This wave, not much to work with yet, but you can see him getting a lot of speed, holding the board stiff, working it to the inside and hoping for a barrel. He tucks his head under there, tries to get a 360 and a barrel roll, and he pulls it off. So he is in 4th place and looking to climb back up into contention.
Such a great competition because you really are going against the best of the best. It's not a Southern Hemisphere competition or a North American competition. These guys are seeing the best bodyboarders from around the world. Countries that you might not think have great bodyboarders, and they are here today. Benitez passes on that way, but Guilherme Temega is back up and riding.
Again, his experience, he's in the right place at the right time. A power roll on the inside after getting a pretty good midsection. Not a long wave, but again, he's on one of the bigger waves, and he's just adding to the lead he already holds.
Temega definitely a veteran there, but this guy, Neil Stevenson from South Africa, is making a serious charge.
Well, you could see the angle right there that we saw. He did a great move. He got the board way out away from the lip, and he continues to work it to the inside. This young man is very talented, and he looks very hungry. You can hear the crowd cheering him on, giving him what he needs to get back out there.
Well, the things are really tightening up as far as the scores go, Mike. Stevenson really putting a push on Temega, our current leader. Let's go back first of all and have a look at McKenzie's wave. The Australian putting on quite a show, and he picks up a 5.93.
Well, you can see there wasn't a lot of time there. He fit 2 maneuvers in. That's what got him the score. But Temega gets a 7, another good score. A lot of pretty open face. It's green on this wave. He gets the power roll. The judges like that. But it's Neil Stevenson getting the bigger score, a 7.17. Right here, he gets in the barrel. The board with the lip, he whips it around. A great looking wave. This competition is underway.
Welcome back to Huntington Beach, California, and Fox Sports coverage of the 1996 ISA World Surfing Games. Todd Harris along with Mike Lambrisi and Peter Townend. Right now it is Guilherme Temega trying to hold off Neil Stevenson from South Africa, and Stevenson has been making a great charge as of late. Temega, though, waiting his time. Here's Luis Benitez from Puerto Rico. He needs waves fast.
Well, he's only caught 2. He's in 4th place, but he's got a good one as we see Steve McKenzie on the inside trying to get his 4th wave going. But Benitez on the outside, then the inside with a big roll. Steve McKenzie finishing his wave off with the big power move. So these competitors going back and forth, realizing they need something strong if they want to compete for the title.
So the Puerto Rican and Australian, although they are back in the pack, they are not giving up as of yet. What a great international competition we have here at Surf City, USA, Huntington Beach, California. And no local favorites here, no American in the bodyboard final. Going back, Benitez sets this one up just perfectly.
Well, you can see he does the 360 on his belly, just getting ready for the last part of the wave. He gets his board way out. He realizes that he needs a big score. He's been held pretty much waveless up to this point, but that really is going to help his cause.
As the swell continues to pull in, Guilherme Temega trying to replace a 5.50. That will give him a big boost, and this may be the way that does it.
Well, if it doesn't, Neil Stevenson's right behind him and less than half a point behind in the standings. Neil's wave looks better. He's working it over. But Guilherme on the inside, a big move. He really needs this score.
Guilherme Temega pulling off a huge maneuver, which really gets the crowd on their feet. But Stevenson answers right back. And at this point, it's really just a great show for all the competitors, regardless of what country you're from.
Well, Stevenson pulled into a pretty much unmakeable section. A big barrel closeout, does the 360, and comes out of nowhere to pull it off.
Out back, Benitez tries his hand at this one, decides to kick out of it. They pretty much got the whole set to themselves right now as the two competitors make their way back in, but it's McKenzie from Australia who is getting the long ride in.
Well, he's trying to make something out of nothing. This is not really the wave that's going to help him out. He digs a rail there, a little bit mistiming. We saw Benitez do the same thing outside. Both those maneuvers at this point in a competition will prove to be real costly.
An official tabulation shows that on that last exchange, Stevenson overtook Tamega. Now, Tamega needs a 7-1-1 or better to win, so he is now behind the 8 ball.
Well, here he is at the horn trying to make it happen. You can see everything he has going into this wave. He got the outside moves after he jockeyed for position, and now the inside really trying to pour it on. Look at him go. This is it. This is every last chance he has to get the world title. A big move. Listen to the crowd. He really needs it. On the beach, the last wave of the final.
Guilherme Tamega living up to his billing, and I really think he might have pulled it off there as the horn goes off. A tremendous wave for him. Not only did he land the big maneuvers, but he continued to link maneuver after maneuver together. As you pointed out earlier, Mike, a real good rhythm to that last wave.
Well, a lot of emotion. You see the flag, you see him coming up on the beach and being hugged by his countrymen. It doesn't get any better than this. We'll just wait to hear the official results.
Let's take a look at a wave once again with split screen, and look at the Brazilian crowd on the beach.
Well, they're really willing him on, and there it is, a 9-0. That means he pulls it off for his country. That's 2 gold medals for these 2 bodyboard victors from Brazil.
Let's go down to Peter Tannen with our winner.
Thanks, Todd. I'm with the winner of the bodyboarding men's out here, Guilherme Tamega. Guilherme, last-minute heroics there. Right in the last few seconds, you get the winning wave.
Yeah, I totally moved out from this spot to the other one where Stevenson was there. And so, man, this is the last bet. I gotta try, and then he was right behind me, like totally sitting on me. And then God just sent me the wave, and unbelievable. Was the best, one of the best victories I have in my life.
You must be
one of the most excited.
You must be really excited for the Brazil team. You win the girls bodyboarding and now the men's too.
Yeah, that's great. I think I did my job. Now I'm gonna look for the surfers in the other categories, so Brazil can win the championship.
Well, congratulations on your performance out there today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, PT. So the Brazilians take home both the men's and women's titles. Viva Brazil, with Guilherme Tamega leading the way for the men. Another event featured at the World Surfing Games this year was the tag team competition. Teams are made up of 5 competitors from each participating country, 4 men and 1 woman. During a 1-hour heat, all 5 surfers on a team must ride 3 waves each. The scores are cumulative.
1 surfer from each team is selected to be the double whammy surfer, meaning that upon completion of one of his 3 waves, he can designate that ride as the double whammy wave by raising both of his hands over his head. The double whammy wave is scored for twice its normal value.
As the heat draws to a close, the team whose 5 members complete all of their rides before the time is up can gain bonus points for an early finish, while teams who exceed the allotted time are penalized. All in all, it's a fun and fast form of competition. This year's winners were the Brazilians, followed by Team Australia, Team USA, and Team New Zealand. We'll have more of the 1996 ISA World Surfing Games right after this. Welcome back to Huntington Beach, California, and the ISA World Surfing Games. Since the advent of the bodyboard, the art of kneeboarding has been pushed somewhat into the background. Even so, you can still find them out in the water, typically in the hollowest of surf, taking advantage of a low profile on a highly maneuverable vehicle. The kneeboard final in this event was another showcase of international talent.
26-year-old Craig Ashdown from Coffs Harbour, Australia fought hard for first place in the kneeboard final. His excellent performance was no surprise, considering his recent undefeated run through the regional, zone, state, and national titles. Here, though, Ashdown would receive formidable competition from all of his kneeboard competitors.
Brazilian Sergio Piexi captured the highest wave count of the heat with 13 waves to his credit. Unfortunately for him, most were average scoring and would not be enough to produce a win in the kneeboard final. However, by virtue of making it all the way to the final, Sergio would give the Brazilian team more valuable points towards the overall team competition.
Hawaiian David Shinbara experienced the same problem of average scoring with only 4 waves to his credit. Each counted toward his overall score. Though ahead of Sergio, it would not be enough to touch the other 2 competitors, Craig Ashdown and Gig Selliers.
The kneeboard final included 2-time world champion from South Africa, Gig Selliers. Selliers took the lead with his first wave and never looked back. Like Shinbara, Selliers rode very few waves, but he made each one count. He scored the only wave of the heat that judges awarded as excellent. This 7.67 wave kept him in the lead, scoring his victory in the kneeboard final.
PD, you know, it's always, it comes down to the conditions and that, and you've got to keep your eye on the sets, get in rhythm with the ocean and that, and I was blessed today, I was lucky, so I'm happy.
You know, South Africa is coming out of its sporting doldrums. You know, there hasn't been a lot of competition for you guys through the years, but it must be great here to be representing your country here in America.
Oh, definitely. It's nice to have the shackles off our shoulders, and getting back into the world competition is a big growth curve for us too. You know, learning about international competition again. But you know, in all our sports and that, we're giving it a good go, and it's great to be back.
Our final results in the kneeboard final: it's Selliers, Ashdown, Shinbara, and Piexi. The ISA World Surf Games are brought to you by Quicksilver, the board writing company. Clothes for life. Welcome back to Huntington Beach, California in the 1996 International Surfing Association's World Surfing Games. Todd Harris along with Mike Lambrisi and Peter Townend, and we are set to go with the junior final, and this one, Mike, is loaded with talent.
It really is, and we're going to see battle between 2 of the youngest, hottest surfers from America and 2 of the hottest from Australia as they do battle to try to bring home the gold for their country. First rider, Damien Hopgood from the USA. A lot of spray on that wave. What a way to start this final. And right behind him, also from the US of A, is Ben Bourgeois.
Ben Bourgeois, the regular footer, and Damien Hopgood, the goofy footer, both of them getting great-looking waves.
Well, Todd, at the beginning of the heat, something that can really mess with the psyche of your competitor is to start off with a good wave right at the beginning while they're sitting out the back just thinking about it. And that's what Damien Hopgood did. You can see that first move, he threw a lot of verticalness into his board and then a lot of spray. The surfers out the back have to see that. After that, it's Ben Bourgeois who got a 7.17 on his first wave. So the Americans throw down the gauntlet to the Australians. This final is underway.
So Hopgood and Bourgeois draw first blood, and now it looks like the Australians will answer back, and it looks like Taj Burrow.
Well, Taj Burrow, a young, hot kid of Australia, he's won just about everything there is to win in the Australian country as a surfer. He is really on fire. They say he's one of the best competitors their country has known in a long time. You can see him really working it over. He's quick, he's fast, he's light, and he really wants to do well.
A lot of these younger surfers really haven't matured with age and growth, and they're still very slight, Mike. The boards they're using are just wafer thin.
They really are, Todd. There's not much to them. They got to be really on top of it. They have to move to keep themselves going. But it's Troy Brooks out the back, and he digs a rail. Not much of a good first move there, and this wave doesn't work out for the inside connection. He'll go back out there and think about that for a while.
Meanwhile, the Americans took advantage of that first swell that came through, and they got the better of that wave exchange. Ben Bourgeois up and riding on his second wave.
So the Americans really taking it to the Australians at the beginning here. Bourgeois looking for the inside connection after the big move on the outside. You know he wants to finish this wave off with the bang and really put it to the Australians, and he does. So Ben Bourgeois nails another nail in the coffin early on. We'll have to see if the Australians can climb back out.
Mike, we talk about this international competition, and these guys definitely have pro careers ahead of them. This is the kind of competition that needs to season these guys up.
It really does. There's a lot of pressure here. It's not just for them to individually do well, but also to carry the flag and the weight of their country on their shoulders. You can see here that the wave score at 3.50 for Taj is not going to get it done, but he does get loosened up. He's got his feet ready to go and sticking to the board, and then behind him his countryman Troy Brooks, a 3.0 when he dug rail on that wave. That's a horrible first wave, but these guys, they got the early jitters, and they're just getting warmed up. We're going to have a battle, I guarantee it.
Troy Brooks makes his way back out into the lineup, and that leaves it wide open for Taj Burrow.
Well, he's quick, and look at him move. He's right back out there on another wave. Not a good wave, but he puts some good moves together. I'll tell you what, that's good surfing, but if he wants to win this final, he's going to have to do it on better waves.
Well, this is a huge international competition, a lot of pressure, Mike, but right now the Americans are making better wave decisions.
They really are, Todd, and I hate to say that because you come from a certain area, you are better at certain kinds of conditions, but early on in this heat, the two East Coasters from the United States, where the waves are traditionally not very good, doing better in the subpar conditions.
Troy Brooks up and right, and he's got a lot of work to do.
Well, he really does. Not only was that not a very good wave, but he didn't surf very good on it either. So he's going to have to go back out there and think about what he wants to do in this heat, wait for better waves, and he's going to have to loosen up a little bit. He looks stiff, and he doesn't look confident. If you want to win a big event like this, you got to be loose. You can't think about what you're doing. You just got to attack it.
Fellow countryman Taj Burrow also getting back out there, and every time they take off on one of these small waves, they lose their position in the lineup. This was a pretty good wave. He gets a 6.60, but he's going to need to do better than that.
Well, he is going to need to get better scores, but for that wave, that was a great score. It was a horrible wave. He made something out of nothing. On the other hand, Brooks on the outside got a little bit more of a lip to work with, but his surfing wasn't very good, so he only got a 4.
The waves continue to roll in here at Surf City, USA, Huntington Beach, California, as we go to our scoreboard, and it's Ben Bourgeois, the American, atop the board. Damian Hobgood is at the bottom, that because he only has one wave, the rest have two. When we come back, we'll have more of the junior final from Huntington Beach. Welcome back to Huntington Beach, California in the 1996 ISA World Surfing Games. Todd Harris along with Mike Lambresi and Peter Townend, and we are in the midst of the junior final. Our current leader at this point, Ben Bourgeois, the American. He is being followed by Taj Burrow, Troy Brooks, and then Damian Hobgood. So it's two Americans, two Australians doing battle, and if you're Damian Hobgood, you really need a wave. But right now it's going to be Taj Burrow from Australia.
Well, the youngster working this wave over, and not a whole lot on the outside, but he does a nice cutback. On the inside, you see there is Wayne Rabbit Bartholomew, a former world champion from Australia, watching his countryman, Taj Burrows, to the inside, trying to make it happen, but the wave doesn't quite pan together. And out the back, it's Damian Hobgood, his second wave, two big moves on the outside. He's looking it over. He's going from rail to rail. It's heating up as the surfers start to get their wave count up. He's barely going to get over to the inside. Very critical for the last scoring points. Hobgood all the way inside.
Damian Hobgood executing a perfect Huntington hop as he makes the reform section. For Taj Burrow, the wave did not quite stay together like he thought it would, and Damian Hobgood gets the better wave once again. So once again, it comes down to wave selection.
It really does, and at this stage of the game where there's only a couple of finals left to go, every point matters for the overall world title for the country. 4.67 you saw there, but it's going to be a better score, a 6.33 for Hobgood. He really adds to that original score of his as he works this wave over. He shows a lot of style and throws some good spray.
Well, a great outing here at Huntington Beach, California, watching the competition, and it's Troy Brooks from Australia who's got a nice-looking wave on his back end.
Well, actually, that's not much of a wave. Actually, he's trying to make something out of it, but the outside was kind of small and flat. He's made the connection, but still just barely working it over. He looks a little out of sync, and he gets to the inside, digs a rail again, so Brooks really having a tough time today.
Brooks able to execute a small floater at the end there, Mike, but as you said, he really does not look like he's in sync. Here is a guy who is the picture of synchronicity, Ben Bourgeois.
He really is. He doesn't look nervous at all. This is a big-time heat. and he is not showing any nerves. Look at him get to the inside, doing that last maneuver in a very difficult wave. Not a great wave, but he worked it over nicely.
And again, we can't point out enough wave selection. Ben Bourgeois waited just a little bit longer, picked up the better wave, gave the wave before him to Troy Brooks. So the Americans looking very strong here today, Bourgeois in particular.
But Taj Burrows, he looks so darn quick. Look at him get across this wave to the open face, and then he cuts back. He doesn't look like anything can phase him. If there's a wave, if there's anything on that wave, he's going to get something out of it. But, you know, sometimes you just can't make something out of nothing.
Taj Burrow unable to make the connection there. He will paddle back out into the lineup. The fans here really getting a good look at the future. Not only the future of possibly the Olympics in 2000, but the future of professional surfing. The 5.93 for Troy Brooks is not what he needs.
Well, it was a pretty good score, I thought, for that wave. I didn't think he'd get that high of a score, but a 6.67 for Bourgeois, you know, that's a good score as well, considering he already has a couple of good waves. And then Taj, you can see, gets a 5 for a wave that didn't even have an inside connection, just basically and purely on his ability alone on the outside.
Ben Bourgeois up and riding yet again, and he continues to dominate this heat.
A good move out the back, a second good move. Bourgeois, a third good move. You know, it's getting almost redundant. He is so loose and fluid. He really looks like he wants it. And on the inside, it's Taj again, working this wave over. A lot of speed, a lot of energy, trying to make it to the inside, and he does. The Australian, you know, he's hanging in there. If he gets a really good score somewhere here in the latter part of the heat, he could challenge for the title.
Taj Burrow, who got a really tough start at the beginning of this heat, looks very strong. He is now in form and really feeling it. He comes from a country where surfing is second to not many other sports. Sydney, Australia will be a perfect venue for an Olympic competition.
They're really good. That is the goal, to get into the Olympic Games in the year 2000 in Sydney. But I'll tell you, Todd, remember this name, Taj Burrows. Remember that face. You're going to see a lot from this kid in the future.
Taj Burrow putting on quite a show out here. Here is Damian Hobgood. He got the first wave of the heat, been quiet ever since. It looks like he might have something here to work with.
Well, this is his third wave, not much of it outside, but he's trying to make something out of it. You know, I think he's just feeling a little bit scared now. You know, time's running out. He needs to have at least his wave count if he wants to be in contention. So this wave, even though not much of a wave, he's going to work it over, get something on the inside, take an average score, and then hope he can put something together at the end.
Out back once again, Taj Burrow continuing to be a wave magnet. Had problems picking up waves earlier, and now he's just grabbing them right and left.
Well, I have to say one thing, his surfing is phenomenal, but if he doesn't win this final, it's going to be because he wasn't patient enough. He didn't wait for the right waves.
There are our current standings. When we come back to Huntington Beach, more of the junior surfing final. Welcome back to Huntington Beach, California, and Fox Sports coverage of the 1996 ISA World Surfing Games. Todd Harris along with Mike Lambresi and Peter Townend bringing you the action, and we are in the midst of a great junior surfing final. Ben Bourgeois has dominated from the start. Taj Burrow has made a great comeback. Damian Hobgood has found his rhythm, and for Troy Brooks, it has not been his day, but there's still time left.
And a great set outside, Todd. It looks like Ben Bourgeois up and riding. The American off the top. You can see the Australian Rabbit Bartholomew after his team gets back in it, watching the American hit the lip and put distance between the two again. And if the Americans want to win the world title here today, they have to get first place in this final. Second place will not allow them to win the title.
Well, Troy Brooks is up and riding on his front side, and he is just trying to get into some kind of rhythm. And today, it does not look to be his day. He does make the reform section here at Huntington, but he's going to need to start racking up a lot of points, because points not only for him, but for his team.
Well, you know, he had to work through a lot of tough competition to get here and get these valuable points. So it's been quite an accomplishment for Mr. Brooks, but today's not his day. As we see Bourgeois, the American, getting a 7.17, that pretty much puts him in a tough place to beat. Look at him get on the lip, go around and down with it, and what a competition he is having.
A 6.83 goes to Troy Brooks. He got a nice wave this time, made the most of it. Still, as you can tell in his reaction, not up to his par today. It's just one of those heats where things aren't going your way. The folks in the crowd, though, absolutely enjoying this international duel between the Americans and the Aussies. And up again, it's Taj Burrow.
Well, there, speaking of the Aussie and quickness, this guy all over the place. Basically, he's taken a wave right here that is nothing, all whitewash, and just jumped around all over the place, making things happen, and the wave disappears, but he keeps going. So Taj Burrows, a very exciting surfer. You can see him get the fins out, and behind him, another good wave, and it looks like Bourgeois.
Ben Bourgeois brought his mom and the rest of the American team here to Huntington Beach. Every time this guy gets up and rides, the Americans feel pretty good because so far, Mike, he has absolutely dominated.
Well, he has just showed a lot of composure for a youngster, and we're seeing some of the best young surfers in the world. And right there, Brooks frustrated again as that wave just dies out, and he has to paddle back out and try it all over again.
Now, you think this is a case where Troy Brooks is just trying too hard?
Well, you know, he is definitely probably just trying to put more than he needs to into this. You know, instead of being patient, he's taking a wave. He's a little quick on everything, catching rails. But there again, Bourgeois finishing off what is an 8.33 wave. This guy looks unbeatable.
Ben Bourgeois seems to link every move together and then pulls off a nice floater at the end, giving him huge points. Damian Hobgood, who opened things up and riding.
Well, he's kind of short a wave, and here he goes, trying to make something happen. He needs something good. Boom, a big move for Hopgood. He really needed that. He's right here, right now, getting his fourth wave, which gets him the minimum, but it's Taj Burrows with the big floater right behind him from Australia.
I'm sure the American coaches would love to see Bourgeois and Hobgood go 1-2. The points would be great, but in this kind of final, they'd be happy with a 1-3 split as long as they got the one.
Well, you can see right there, Hopgood, a 6.33. That's a pretty good score. He's going to need better than that if he wants to win the final at this point. And Taj is 6.43, but the heat winding down, it's pretty much over. Bourgeois, from start to finish, never looked back, never had a weakness. He looked strong all the way through. I'd have to say the American took down the win.
Ben Bourgeois looked very strong from start to finish, you pointed out, and a great performance by all four of our very young competitors in front of a huge international crowd. There are the final results. Ben Bourgeois from America takes home the win. A great victory for him. Let's go down to Peter Townend, who's got our winner.
Thanks, Todd. I'm here with today's winner of the juniors, Ben Bourgeois. Ben, a great performance in the final. It started off slow, and then you got a couple of great waves in the middle.
Thanks. I just got lucky, and like the good waves came to me. I'm stoked.
What's this mean to you to be the world junior champion?
It's great. It's a good thing to win this contest and then turn pro. I think it helps you out a lot.
You know, there's been a lot of other great names going on to pro careers, like the last winner was Kalani Robb, and now you join those ranks. I'm sure you're going to be looking at the WCT.
Yeah, definitely. I'm stoked. Hopefully I'll qualify.
And also today, look, another win for the Americans. I'm sure you're stoked about that.
Yeah, hopefully it'll help us out a lot. Stoked.
Well, congratulations on your performance out here today.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, PT, and congratulations to Ben, and congratulations on winning the 1996 ISA Junior Final. We now set the stage for the women's final. Nerida Falconer from Scots Head, New South Wales, one of the top flight competitors on the Women's World Tour. She will be facing the likes of Tita Tavares from Brazil, a young up-and-coming surfer, a true Cinderella story. One of the youngest competitors in the competition, Melanie Bartles from Hawaii. And rounding out the four, Jacqueline Silva from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. So when we return to Huntington Beach, California, the ISA World Surfing Games continue with the women's final. Welcome back to Huntington Beach, California, and Fox Sports coverage of the 1996 ISA World Surfing Games. Todd Harris along with Mike Lambresi and Peter Townend, and we are just getting it away with the women's surfing final. Silva, Tavares, Bartles, and Nerida Falconer.
Well, Todd, this is going to be a very important final for the Brazilians. They have two surfers here with a chance to really add to their opportunity to win a world title. And up and riding on the first wave, one of the Brazilians, not much of a wave. She hits it really quick and kicks out.
Well, Tita Tavares there from Recife, Brazil, maybe looking at the last heat, thinking she needs to draw first blood. Melanie Bartles from Hawaii has got a nice-looking wave on her back end.
She actually tries to pull in and get a little bit of a cover-up, gets her hair wet. Not much of a wave on the inside. This is a critical time in the day where the tide is changing, and the competitor who decides to go outside and get the outside waves is probably going to have an advantage.
Tita Tavares picks up a minuscule 3.0 for her first offering. and the swell is really dropping, Mike, so the girls are really going to have a tough time picking up some good waves.
Just when you say that, a little bit of a set out the back. Nerida Falconer from Australia, you can see she's elected to work from the outside. That's her experience. That's telling her that I can get more points by getting a bigger wave that goes for longer distance. So that's what she does. And now she's on the inside going back and forth. A little bit of a rail dig, but she holds on. Doesn't look too bad doing it. And goes for the floater once and twice. So the Australian, a quick start with the good wave.
Nerida Falconer, quite possibly the most experienced female surfer out here. She has been on the ASP World Surf Tour for several years, coming from Australia, a country really known for their surfing abilities, and she was just here a few months ago competing at the U.S. Open of Surfing.
Well, she got a 6.40, and that's what can happen when you take off on a bigger wave on the outside. You can see she got that first cutback. You know, on the inside, she had a little bit of trouble right there. She hit it soon, too early, and then she had to set up for that next wave. And if you remember correctly, she hit it, but she wasn't able to hold on. But, hey, she's got her nerves out. She's ready to go, and she's got a decent score to go along with it.
Nerida Falconer makes her way back in. A few lines coming in on the Pacific. We have yet to see from Jacqueline Silva from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Looks like she is lining something up. But on the inside, Melanie Bartles from Hawaii has something going.
She takes off, gets a quick hit, and goes down. She's surfing on the inside. That doesn't give you much opportunity for a high score. And on top of that, she can't pull off the move. And you can see spectators on the beach concerned as they watch, cheering for their country as Tita Tavares works it from the outside.
Tita Tavares brings it on in and loses her footing and goes down. But for Tita Tavares, just being here is a huge success for her. In 1994, Tita Tavares burst onto the international surfing scene by surfing her way to the quarterfinals against the best female surfers in the world at the Alternativa Pro in Brazil. For many of the pros, this was just a contest. For Tita, it was much more. Tita comes from a shanty town or favela in the northern part of Brazil, and her quarterfinal winnings of $1,200 would literally change her life. Since that event, Tita has received the backing of sponsors and the ability to travel. Her fast and aggressive surfing have placed her in the top 25 in the world. For many who grow up in poverty, sports have become a way out, not just in Brazil, but all over the world. Athletic ability runs deep in the favelas of Brazil, and hopefully Tita is just one of many talented surfers who will benefit from the sport of surfing. Tita Tavares, one of Brazil's great surfing success stories. Back to the women's final here at Huntington Beach, California. And up and riding is Jacqueline Silva, currently in 4th place. We haven't seen much from her, Mike. She also comes from Brazil, down on the coast in Rio de Janeiro. Not much to work with there, however.
And Todd, you're not going to win the event surfing the shore break. She needs to get outside like Nerida Falconer has. Her first wave is 6.40 because she surfed from out here. And now here she is again. 2 good moves on the outside, working it over. The wave's a bit flat, but look at her project when she goes rail to rail. She really knows how to make the connection. On the inside, a big move. She makes the connection, makes the move, and she shows some enthusiasm.
Nerida Falconer totally dominating this heat, picking up the best waves, showing the best form. And I've seen her surf at Bells Beach down in Australia, and she really is talented. Here's Jacqueline Silva picking up a 4.50, Mike. As you pointed out, she's not going to get the big scores on the inside.
That is correct. On the other hand, a 7.5 for Nerida Falconer. And not only is she getting the right waves, but she's doing the moves. And she is currently in first place by well over 3 points.
The ISA World Surf Games are brought to you by Reef Brazil. Shoes and sandals worn by the best surfers in the world. Welcome back to Huntington Beach, California, Surf City, USA for Fox Sports coverage of the 1996 ISA World Surfing Games. Todd Harris along with Mike Lambresi and Peter Townend, and we are in the midst of the women's final up and riding. It's Nerida Falconer.
Well, Todd, she started off strong and she just continues to dominate from that outside peak. And she's working it all the way through, just like her previous two waves. You can see how she's just trying to maintain board speed through the flat, get to the critical part of the wave and hit it, and there she does it again. So Nerida making sure that Australia is in the running by putting on a great performance here in the finals.
Meanwhile, Jacqueline Silva from Brazil, currently in 4th place, trying to play catch-up.
Well, she's got a good-looking wave. She didn't really have to work that hard to make the connection. It was just there for her, and a great closeout re-entry. She has some style and power with good maneuvering.
A great wave for Jacqueline Silva from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. That will definitely pull her out of 4th place. First of all, let's go back and have a look at Australian Nerida Falconer's last wave.
Well, like I said, she got it on the outside, and 8.33, that's a great score. You can see her really lay it off the top there. Good maneuvering. You know, Australia really needs a good placing if they want to get the gold medal as a team, and Nerida's doing everything she can to see that that happens. Jacqueline Silva from Rio de Janeiro gets a 7.43, with Brazil winning the women and men's bodyboard final. This is very important. If she can get up into the 1st or 2nd place, that could mean victory and gold for the Brazilian team.
Well, with 2 Brazilians in the women's final, they are definitely looking to rack up points here. Silva and Tita Tavares doing a great job. And that last wave moves Jacqueline Silva into 2nd place. So right now it's Nerida Falconer running away with this thing, but the 2 Brazilians are trying to track her down. The international crowd here absolutely loving this at Surf City, USA. And up and riding, it's Melanie Bartles.
Well, we can see the Hawaiian working her way, and she's on the inside again. It's not going to happen. She's not going to win this event from the shore break. She needs to move outside if she wants to compete with these other 3 incredibly talented surfers.
And at this point, it looks like Nerida Falconer really has figured out the combination.
Well, Tita Tavares has figured it out as well. You know, she's in 3rd place right now. She goes down on her belly, but she's back up. The connection looks like it could really build up for her. She's doing it all right now, seeing what she can pull off. Up on the lip, she comes down. A great move by Tita, and a great move for the Brazilians.
Tita Tavares from Recife, Brazil, with a lot of speed and a lot of style on that nice floater. That's worth a lot of points there. Melanie Bartles has got to be watching this and saying, why are they racking up so many points? She's got to make the move.
Well, you see Tita on the replay, a 6.33. That's a darn good score. She sets up. She's got a lot of speed for an inside wave, a lot of wall. She gets right up on the lip, comes down ever so graceful, the critical part of the wave. The Brazilians coming on strong. They're in 2nd and 3rd.
Nerida Falconer still out front with almost a 6-point lead. She is absolutely dominating the competition today, and you'd expect that from someone like Nerida Falconer. She comes from Australia, a country which is really one of the powerhouses in surfing. And here we go. Once again, it looks like Melanie Bartles has made a move.
Well, she has, and she made it to the outside finally, and that makes a big difference. It gives her an opportunity for a better score, but unfortunately for her, the wave that she gets doesn't get all the way inside, and behind her is Nerida Falconer from Australia, the leader.
Nerida Falconer from New South Wales with a lot of experience out here. Also, Jacqueline Silva up and riding as well.
Well, a bit of a crossover there. They had to get out of each other's way. That'll be a questionable call to see what the judges call. But Silva, a good closeout re-entry as she's trying ever so desperately to catch the Australian.
We will have to go back and look at this again, but it looks like the officials may give an interference call on Silva.
Well, what happens, we don't get to see it, but when 2 surfers are on the same wave, coming in the same direction, whoever was up first has the right of way, and it looks to me that the Australian was up first because Jacqueline Silva got the penalty, and what that means is she'll get scored on 1 less wave than her competitors, and here's her teammate, Tita Tavares, trying to make up for it and keep the Brazilians in the race.
Well, now the pressure shifts on the shoulders of Tita Tavares. She will really have to make up for it. More than likely, Jacqueline Silva will drop to 4th place because with only being scored on 3 waves, that will make it difficult for her.
You never know what can happen, but Tita again on the inside, she really did another nice move like that previous wave where she got up on the lip and then she brings it back down. You know, this is the final and Tita knows it. The Brazilian really taking it to it, surfing with confidence, getting the right waves and going for the big moves, realizing that victory for her could mean victory and gold for her country.
Welcome back to Huntington Beach, California, and the International Surfing Association's World Surfing Games. Todd Harris along with Mike Lambresi and Peter Townend. Our current standings in the women's final, it's Nerida Falconer out in front, but Tita Tavares has closed the gap a bit. It is now down to 4 points, and time is running out.
It really is, and you can see the 2 girls out the back positioning themselves for the next set wave that comes in, realizing how important it is to get the victory, and one wave is the difference from first to second place. 3 surfers paddling, and up and riding Nerida Falconer going on her backhand, a little bit behind that wave, but she gets it, which means 2 things. One, she gets another score, but secondly, she kept her competitors off that wave, and that can be just as important at this time in the heat.
And you can see Tita Tavares just shadowing her, trying to stay right on her heels. And Nerida Falconer really shows her expertise and picks off a nice wave.
She does. She got a good maneuver there. Strategically speaking, that was a terrific wave for her to take. And I think it was the difference. It kept them off, the competitors off her back, and she will win this heat and this final for her country, Australia.
Well, back to this final wave. Tita Tavares on the left from Brazil, and Nerida Falconer on the right in the red from Australia. She is up and riding first. She gets the last wave.
She also gets interference on her competitor just to put the nails in the coffin as the Australian flag waves high and proudly, keeping them in contention in this big event.
But Tita Tavares and Jacqueline Silva did a great job. Both great competitors, but Nerida Falconer was just a little too much today. She put on quite a performance. Her last wave score is 6.0.
After the interference call there, right near the end, though, you managed to get in position again to get a great ending wave.
Yeah, well, it was either me or one of the other girls was going, and I wasn't going to give them the chance to catch up to me, you know, so I didn't know if that was actually going to be called an interference on the other guy. I didn't interfere with her, and I don't think she interfered with me, but, you know, the judges saw it differently, and you know, it just helped me to took the pressure off me a little bit, and I was in position for the next set, which was, you know, was great.
A victory for the Aussies. I'm sure you're stoked about that.
Yeah. I just hope that, you know, this gives a bit more momentum to the team, and hopefully our juniors can do well, and in the Opens too, and the other divisions that we have surfers competing today.
Well, congratulations on your performance today.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, PT, and congratulations to Nerida Falconer. She is followed by Tita Tavares, Jacqueline Silva, and Melanie Bartles in the women's final. As in most international competitions, including the Olympics, competitors here at the World Surfing Games are submitting themselves to drug testing. Directly after heats, male and female competitors must be proven drug-free to continue competition and to take the stand to receive earned awards. This is just one more step in the preparation towards the goal of becoming an Olympic sport in the year 2000. From the women's final, we go right into the men's longboard final, and the competition out there, unbelievable.
That's right, Todd, and let me make a prediction right now. Jason Blewett, the Australian, and Jeff Moisa from America, 2 of the hottest young longboarders in the world today, will do battle for this title.
Up and riding, first of all, it's the Frenchman, Alex Gazo.
A good-looking first wave. He gets into it right in the proper spot, gets along, trim along the curl, and a closeout re-entry for Alex. He's looking for a shore break, and waiting, does a little cross step on it, gets up towards the nose. That's big in longboarding, just crossing your feet over with style and being able to do it with grace. You can see him go to his knees and back up on the inside, so a good first wave for the Frenchman.
Alexis Gazo gets things going with a nice opening ride, and Huntington Beach really is suited for some great longboarding.
It really is. The wave out here gives you an opportunity to do what you just saw there, some cross-stepping. And that's something that's real important in longboarding. You don't just do maneuvers, but you work with your feet. You kind of play around with the board, and you make things happen while you're in between maneuvers, as you can see Marcela from Brazil doing it there.
Marcela Freitas from Brazil, the next competitor up and riding, so we will have to wait and see our 2 top flight competitors. But Freitas doing a great job out here, trying to make something happen here at Huntington Beach.
Well, he works the inside on the shore break, trying to make something happen. Not a whole lot there, but at the beginning of that wave, he got 1 foot up over the nose. That is what the judges will be looking for partially out here. That'll score good. He got up on the nose, he hung there for a while, and you see paddles back out. We're waiting for our 2 main competitors.
Going back and looking at Alexis Gazo's first wave, a 6.67, not a bad opening ride for the guy.
No, that's a terrific first wave. You know, you're just getting your nerves out of the way, and you'll see right behind him that Marcelo gets a wave score of 4.67, not quite as good, but nevertheless, he's got something under his belt.
So the Brazilian and the Frenchman open things up, and here he is, Jeff Moisa.
Jeff Moisa from Team USA gets right up on the nose. You can see his mother there watching his first opening wave here, going for the gold medal. Jeff has been working ever so hard for this contest. There he is on the nose again, a great first wave. He gets under the inside, waiting to see what's going to happen. He's building it up as Blewett, the Australian's up on the outside, up on the nose. This is the beginning of a great clash of two incredible surfers.
Jason Blewett from Team Australia wasting no time. He knows he can't let Jeff Moisa get way out in front with wave count. So Jason Blewett grabs the next available wave, and he comes in right behind Moisa.
And boy, does he look good in the tradition of the great Australian surfer Nat Young, one of the best to ever walk on a board. Jason Blewett ever so fluidly does the drop knee cutback and the cross step all the way to the shore. This is going to be a true battle between the American and the Australian.
Well, a great opening exchange. First of all, Moisa gets things going on a nice wave and goes right out to the nose.
Well, you get 2 feet over the tip of the nose and just stand there casually. That's one part of longboarding, and then the bank on the inside, that's the second part. Moisa got a good score, but you see Blewett, he's really showing some fluidity here. He gets near the tail, does that drop knee cutback, steps up on the nose, does the crossover back to the tail, a great opening wave.
We've seen all of our 4 finalists. We'll be back to Huntington Beach right after this. We are back to Huntington Beach, California for the International Surfing Association's World Surf Games. The longboard final right now, Jeff Moisa has a lead of 2 points over Jason Blewett, and Moisa is going back to work.
And look at him go straight to the nose. He is leading this heat, and that is why. You can just see he's all over the wave. You can see determination in every move he does. And Jason Blewett, the Australian, trying to show the same kind of determination as Moisa's up on the nose again on the shore break, looking for one last maneuver. He gets across right by the pier, gets a little bit stuck as Blewett comes to the inside, and he makes his wave and comes right off at the end.
Marcelo Freitas from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, up and riding as well. The waves continue to come in, so there's not a lack of waves. All of these competitors get a good look.
Well, Freitas pulls off a good last move on that wave, but it's Alexis Gazzo who's currently in 4th place, up and riding out the back. He's looking for something to happen. He gets up towards the nose, looking good, waiting, trying to find the right spot. He moves up towards the nose. He hits over the nose. That's what the judges like. Pulls into the barrel, but can't quite hold on.
Well, the ISA officials have to be happy with this. We've got great waves, great weather conditions, a stellar longboard final, and Jeff Moisa is out in front, a real class act in the sport. Had a chance to surf with him down in Costa Rica, a great guy. Jeff Moisa has a vision, one that involves rings and an Olympic flame. While a quest for Olympic gold is not a new concept, surfing to represent his country is a huge honor Jeff focuses on daily.
I stayed amateur for about the last 2 years going up to this contest. And it's a good contest to stay amateur and go against the pros, because I'm used to it because I've had plenty of good placings since last year in the pro divisions. It's able for me to go against both of them in both a professional and an amateur way.
Top finishes include a 4th place finish in the 1995 U.S. Open of Longboarding and a 2nd in this year's Open. A huge key to his success is his versatility, combining the best of old-style longboarding and new-school moves. Perhaps the most bizarre aspect of Jeff's longboarding success is that he trains almost exclusively on short, high-performance boards.
I don't really go out and ride my longboard like before a contest, like a lot. It's just usually right before a contest I go out and ride it. I'm usually always riding my shortboard. I know a lot of people always see me on my shortboard and they don't think that I'm a longboarder. But there's new stuff that's being done on longboards that couldn't be done like 30 years ago. I think people take a look at the shortboarders and then go, oh, we could try that on a longboard. And then they kind of intermix now.
The surfing chameleon aspect seems to work for him, and he has the hardware to prove it. Jeff humbly and shyly admits that he has lost count of trophies deep in the hundreds. Victories range from early local and national scholastic success to top placings in many of the most important longboard competitions on the pro world circuit. While sponsors like Stewart, Billabong, and Oakley assist him today, much of this was accomplished with the support of his family. It is obvious that Jeff will do well as a pro. In fact, the only reason he has remained an amateur is to compete in this year's ISA World Surfing Games. Should the opportunity to compete in the upcoming Olympics arise, there are few who doubt he will be a shining star for the United States. And it is Jeff Moisa from San Clemente, California, USA, out in front by 4 points over Jason Blewett. Then it's Alexis Gazzo and Marcelo Freitas.
And we see a wave moving in on the outside. Who's it going to be? It is the Australian up and riding. He's up on the nose. Jason Blewett looking for more open face. A nice big floater as he looks for the inside part of the wave. He continues to look for more wave to ride. Australia working their way, trying to get back into first place, but it's Alexis Gazzo out the back. Two surfers simultaneously riding two waves. Todd, this is a great exchange.
Well, you got a good idea what it would be like to have this sport in the Olympics. We've got 4 different countries being represented here in the longboard final, and it looks like Jeff Moisa's got yet another wave.
He is up on the nose where he's been spending most of his time. He moves back, building up a lot of speed toward the pier. Up on the lip, and he comes down with it. A good move as he just continues to build on top of his lead. And now he's looking for more room on the inside to add more points so that USA can have a bigger lead over the rest of the countries. This guy, Jeff Moisa, really wants to make it happen for his country. A true patriot going through the pier.
Jeff Moisa putting on quite a show for the American spectators as well as the international judges. And Mike, I think you can really tell that he does a lot of surfing on a shortboard.
Well, it comes through in the agility and the explosiveness, but the thing that's so good about Jeff is his ability to mix it in with the old style. And then you see Jason Blewett up on the nose, the Australian. This guy is some kind of talent. As you see, he gets a 6.27.
Jason Blewett trying to keep the heat on Jeff Moisa, but Jeff Moisa got the better of those wave exchange. Really going to work on this one, and he picks up a 7.67.
Well, his maneuvers were just bigger. The wave gave him more opportunities, and he took advantage of it.
Back to Huntington Beach after this. The International Surfing Association's World Surfing Games are brought to you by Billabong. Know the feeling. Welcome back to Huntington Beach, California, and Fox Sports coverage of the ISA World Surfing Games. Todd Harris along with Mike Lambresi and Peter Townend. And here are our current standings in the longboard final. It's Jeff Moisa out in front with a commanding lead. And with only moments to go in the final, Jeff Moisa takes another look.
And he goes right to the nose and defiantly stands there as if saying, I am going to win this event. And Todd, I said it would be a battle between this man, Jeff Moisa, and Jason Blewett of Australia. But Marcelo Freitas is up and riding. He's trying to get into a bronze medal position. He needs about a 3.61 as we see Moisa on the nose. A little victory head dip there as Freitas continues to work it into the inside. Both surfers getting as much out of it at the end of this heat as possible.
Well, Marcelo Freitas from Brazil and Jeff Moisa from California both getting high marks for length of ride. Moisa absolutely working it, and he is absolutely exhausted. Takes a look back out, and he will go back out with only moments to go as Team America cheers him on.
This is what it's all about. You got the flags on the beach, your country participants and supporters cheering you on, and you have to go back out and get one more. But look at Moisa, he's just standing there. You know, you have to be really relaxed to be able to stand on the nose like that. It's not an easy thing to do, and he really stands there for a long time, and the scores show it, a 7.67. If there was any doubt that USA and Jeff Moisa were going to win this final, that pretty much shut them down.
Marcelo Freitas picks up a 5.17, so he does in fact move into third place, leaving Alexis Gazzo in fourth, and that will put Jason Blewett in second, but he has got a hard task ahead of him trying to track down Jeff Moisa. Moisa absolutely dominating the break here at Huntington today, and here's Blewett.
Well, Blewett needs an 11.30 to get back into first place. That is a combination of two waves, as you can only get a 10, but that is a beautiful cutback. The Australian in the tradition, like I said, of Nat Young, one of the best longboarders and pure surfers to ever walk the face of this earth, as he shows style, grace, and poise on that wave while he stands on the nose.
Well, Jason Blewett definitely is not giving up. He is going to try to track down Moisa. Meanwhile, Alexis Gazzo needs a 5.57 to take over third place, and he is doing everything he can.
Well, first and second are pretty much sewn up, so these guys are battling for that bronze medal. They know what it's going to take, and they're giving everything they have, and we're seeing a seesaw battle.
Alexis Gazo from France doing a great job out here in the Pacific, spends most of his time in the Atlantic, so this is a nice break for him. Marcelo Freitas from Brazil doing a great job as well, but right now it is all Jeff Moisa.
And Jason Blewett, the Australian, look at him just step on the tail and push it around, a beautiful turn. This guy has so much style, it is unbelievable. And the score, an 8.07. That is tremendous. This is not over by any means with Jason still out in the water.
Well, Jason picks up an 8.07. That really closes the gap, but can he get back in time to get another one? With under 30 seconds to go, Jeff Moisa has got a wave, and this will probably be the last of the heat.
Well, it's not the best wave he's had all day, but he looks good on it. He's working it to the inside. He just looks really pumped up and confident. He throws it up on the lip, does the 360, toying with the wave. Jeff Moisa, yes, I have won this event for USA.
Jeff Moisa, a absolutely spectacular performance here at the ISA World Surfing Games. Team USA very excited, not only for his win, but for the points that will bring to the team. And for Jeff Moisa, it was a start to finish job. The horn sounds, and that is it. Jeff Moisa really did a job. Jason Blewett, you've got to give him credit from Australia. He put the pressure on with under a minute to go, picks up that 8.07 when it looked like Moisa was out of reach, and Jeff Moisa now can celebrate with his mom. He has worked a lifetime for a moment like this.
Jeff Moisa, and the tears are flowing in the family. He has put a lot of effort into a dream, and that dream has come true today.
There you see the final results. Let's go down to Peter Tanner, who's standing by with our winner.
Thanks, Todd. I'm here with today's winner in the longboarding, Jeff Moisa. Jeff, a great performance out there today. You've been great through the whole event, and today you capped with the win.
Oh gosh, it's so hard to surf out there right now. It's just not even like, there's a deep hole on the inside, so it's so hard to get through them. But as long as you get like the open face waves on the outside, do one maneuver out the back, you work it all the way through, you most likely get a high score.
You've been really aiming at this competition. I know for a long time you've maintained your amateur status all the way through, and you must feel really proud of this achievement.
Oh gosh, like I've been waiting for this for too long, doing the trials for 2 years for the US team, and then coming all the way here and doing a training camp, and then finally coming to this contest, just dream come true.
And a win for the Americans today.
Oh yeah, gosh, I'm so proud. Keep my team in there.
Well, congratulations on your performance today.
Thanks, BT.
Congratulations to Jeff Moisa taking home the win. When we come back, the men's open final. Welcome back to Huntington Beach, California, and the premier event of the ISA World Surfing Games, Mike, and we have got a lot of talent in the open final.
Shane Beschen from America, he'll be doing battle with Taylor Knox, also from the good old US of A. Both surfers from the ASP World Tour with a lot of experience. Going up against them is Australia's Todd Prestidge, the 23-year-old. He's the leader on the WQS ratings. And rounding out the top four in this final from Rio de Janeiro, the Brazilian Victor Ribas. A great final coming up.
The open division of this final features the highest profile surfers in this competition. Unlike other events where top-ranked competitors are seeded into later rounds, at this event, amateur and pro alike starting from ground zero to make their climb up a double elimination ladder. Certainly the finalists will be the first to say they have fought their way through some of the best surfers from around the world. Well, we are set to go with the men's open final, and really a culmination, this heat is, of a lot of surfing. We've seen surfers from countries you might not expect, like Israel, Switzerland, Denmark. So we are set to go, the men's open final, the ISA World Surfing Games, and it looks like the U.S.'s Taylor Knox will be the first.
He is up and riding from Carlsbad, the United States representative, Taylor Knox, and he gets an okay wave to open it up. But the thing that you notice right away is that Taylor looks fluid, he looks strong, and he looks real aggressive.
Shane Beshin just up the road in San Clemente, USA, gets the next wave, but he comes unglued.
Well, you see Shane Beshin go out the back on that wave, a lot of energy, really pushing hard. But what an opportunity for these surfers. This is the closest they've ever been to an Olympic sport, Olympic surfing. Most of the time surfing for big dollars. Right now there's no money on the line. It's just pride and an opportunity to represent your country and bring home the gold.
We've got 2 Americans, a Brazilian and an Australian, and right now it's Todd Prestidge from Australia.
Well, the man in red gets a good first wave. He goes high up on the lip, works it over. You know, Todd works out in America, but he's from Australia. That's what he calls home, and he wants to take the gold with him back to home country. And Australia has owned the trophy for almost the last decade, and here is the man, Taylor Knox, who is bound and determined to make sure that it doesn't stay in Australia but comes back to America. Taylor Knox, one of the best waves of the day, a big vertical snap on his backhand. That is an ultimately perfect ridden wave by Taylor Knox.
Taylor Knox looking very good, going both directions. Right behind him, Shane Beshin is up and riding, but Taylor is still going.
Still going to the inside, trying to cap off a perfect ending on a perfect wave. I gotta tell you, Todd, as close to a 10 as I've seen today.
Shane Beshin continues to work his wave. The fellow countryman from San Clemente, California, looking good, comes unglued at the end, so they will both go back to the lineup. But for Taylor Knox, that was very impressive. Not only the Americans, but everyone here enjoyed that one.
And that's one way to get the flags moving. The US of A on the beach really getting excited. But let's take a look at Todd Prestidge, the Australian, a 7.50. That was a big time maneuver. He knows what it's all about. Gets the elevator drop, some hang time, comes around that section, throws the additional maneuver and works it all the way over to the inside. But it was Taylor Knox right behind that to steal the show, and he does. He gets a 10. Todd, the first 10 of the final.
Taylor Knox puts up a perfect score, a 10. That definitely makes him the man to beat. Shane Beshin looking good as well, as does Todd Prestidge. We have yet to see from Victor Ribas from Brazil. But Mike, you could not say anything critical about this wave. He did nothing wrong.
He did nothing wrong, and right there in the most critical part of the wave, Taylor just tucks it right under, attacks the lip, brings it back down with him. That was just phenomenal surfing.
Taylor has his game going today, and that's a nice way to get the competition started. Here he is, Victor Ribas from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
And he is a good surfer. He's finally got that first wave and a lot of maneuvers. Look at him go. It's just never ending. One rail to another as he just continues to work this wave over mercilessly all the way to the inside, still moving it now on his backside, waiting for that one last hit, and he gets it. Victor Ribas from Brazil.
Victor Ribas with a very ominous task, having to follow up Taylor Knox's 10 even. A tough way to be graded, but he pulls off a very nice wave nonetheless, Mike.
He really did, and after Taylor pulled off a 10, Victor came back and had to really show the judges that, hey, this is not over yet. Wait until you see what I can do. He goes from one move to the next, a very respectable 7.17, and you know, that's something that he will probably hold on to for the rest of the heat, that score.
And it's nothing like a solid score to get fellow countrymen singing. When we come back to Huntington Beach, California, we'll have more of the Open Final. Stay with us. Welcome back to Fox Sports coverage of the International Surfing Association's World Surfing Games. Todd Harris along with Mike Lambresi and Peter Tannen. Our current standings, Taylor Knox out in front by 2.17, and it's got to be by virtue of that perfect 10 score.
Well, Victor Ribas only about 2 points behind, and even though this is not an Olympic sport yet, the Olympic spirit is alive and well in this final.
Yeah, totally. You know, it's a international world game, so it's definitely more of that deal for me because there's no money involved, and you know, it's kind of cool to get more into that aspect of it.
Shane Beschen doing his country proud, as is Todd Prestage, Victor Rebus, and Taylor Knox. You know, it's saying something for 36 countries to come here and these guys to make it down to the 4 finalists, and I know they all want to take home the gold.
Well, Taylor Knox pouring it on there after that 10-point wave with 2 surfers up and riding. Taylor Knox and Shane Beschen from the same country pouring it on. It looks like Shane is out, but Taylor still going. Gets the inside connection. At low tide, that gets harder and harder, but not for Mr. Knox. He is on fire.
We talked about this earlier in the show, getting in the rhythm, getting in the flow, and Taylor Knox certainly is in that right now. He seems to be doing everything right. Having that 10 really boosts his confidence, as it did for the Team America, but Taylor Knox feels right at home here at Huntington Beach.
Well, this is, I think there has to do a lot of pride. There's no money. There's no one's worried about trophies. It's a team contest, you know. The teams are down here. It's kind of strange getting cheered on by so many other surfers. So it's all about pride, I think.
Well, pride of country, pride of team, individual pride. Either way, Taylor Knox a 7.33, and that's a lot of pride.
Taylor Knox, a lot of pride, a lot of points. No one has left the beach yet. And our next surfer to go, it looks like it will be Shane Beschen.
And showing a lot of speed, Shane Beschen get one of his better waves, gets across that open face, spanks it off the oncoming section. Beschen looking for that inside connection. You know, that's where it's been his downfall today. He's not been able to make it to the inside. And again, another good wave that he can't get inside of.
Todd Prestage from Australia also trying to do the Huntington hop and make a connection. He, unlike Shane Beschen, is able to do it, and he will rack up some more points.
Well, Todd looks very crisp. He looks sharp. He looks fast. You can just see him go rail to rail, everything flowing real nicely for the Australian.
Shane Beschen picks up some valuable points here, a 7.17, Mike.
Well, his surfing is really sharp on this wave, one of the best waves he's had in the final. But unfortunately for Shane, he has not been able to make that connection, and it's been hard for him to get up in the 8s. Todd Prestage, on the other hand, gets a 5.67 on a pretty good wave.
And for Todd Prestage, the opportunity to represent his country in Sydney, Australia in 2000 is on his mind.
Oh, I'd love to, mate. That'd be one of the ultimate things in surfing right now, to represent your country. I mean, it feels great to represent my country here, and to be in the Olympic Games to have a chance at a gold medal would be unbelievable.
As the Australian flag flies high, we take a look at the crowd here. No one has left. This is the premier event, the open final, and it looks like Taylor Knox is looking for some more premier points.
Well, Taylor Knox, he has been relentless, one wave to another, and you can just see his sharp surfing, quick, spontaneous, and strong. We look at it from the piers. He hops his way to the inside. He's composed. He's working it over, a lot of speed. One last maneuver. He gets the tail right up there, and this is Taylor Knox's day. He is on fire, and he has got the crowd pumped.
Taylor Knox, an absolute miracle story several years ago, involved in a very serious car accident. So for him to be doing what he's doing here today at Huntington Beach is nothing short of a miracle.
Well, Taylor Knox looks really sharp here. You know, you mentioned that accident where he broke his back. There's been a lot of therapy, a lot of time in the gym for Taylor. He's really strong and he's really flexible, and that shows in his surfing. He's spontaneous. He can get in really compact type positions, and that leads to the big moves on a 7.93.
Well, Taylor Knox is doing a great job here. We'll have more from Huntington Beach after this. Welcome back to Huntington Beach, California, in the 1996 International Surfing Association's World Surfing Games. Todd Harris along with Mike Lambresi and Peter Townend, and the buzzwords all week, Sydney and the year 2000. They definitely want to make this an Olympic sport. Right now it's Taylor Knox out in front of Victor Rebus. We've still got much more surfing to go as the flags fly. 36 countries coming to Huntington Beach, California, and it has all come down to this, and it's Victor Rebus. He needs a 10.27 combination to take the lead, and he is from Brazil.
That's right, Victor Rebus needs more than one wave to get back into first place. He needs a combination of waves, but this is a good start. He had some good moves on the outside. He's quick, he's fast, he's light and strong. He shows that by making the connection here at low tide. Gets to the inside, but unfortunately can't quite get off that last move. That could be fatal for Victor Rebus, but he's got to hurry up and get back out there if he wants to get into first place.
Victor Rebus getting some coaching from the shore. That wave will make a mark in Taylor's lead, but he needs more, and he likes surfing in Huntington Beach.
Yeah, I like Huntington. I competed here a long time. When I was 16 years old, it was my first contest of P-Pro here. And I really like the waves in Huntington Beach.
Well, looking back at that wave, a 6.50, he needed a 10.27, so a little better than halfway there. 2 quick vertical snaps. Victor Ribas, and then the wraparound cutback. He's showing a lot of speed, a lot of agility.
Back in the lineup, the next wave comes through. It looks like this time Shane Beshin's going to pick it up. He needs an 8.84 to move into second.
Well, Shane, he got caught a little bit on his rail when he came down. If anybody's capable of throwing the high score and getting into that placing, it's Shane Beshin. But once again, wouldn't you know it, he can't make the connection. It's been every wave for Shane Beshin. As we see Taylor Knox, he comes undone too. So does that leave the door open for the Brazilian? As we see Todd Prestige trying to make a move, he gets a good outside move, a good second move on the shoulder. The Australian moving to the inside, so all surfers really making a push here at near the end of the heat, but Prestige, like Beshin, can't make the connection.
Prestige needed a 4.60 to move into third, and every place is valuable, not only for these surfers in the individual event, but towards the overall team standings. You never know how it shakes out at the end. For Todd Prestige, he is trying to get more. He picks up a 6.10, and that's enough to move him into third.
Well, that could prove to be big, Todd. As you were saying, one placing in this final could be the difference of getting first or second for your country in the overall world title. And Prestige just moved up to third, and you know Australia is right there for the overall championship.
Australia, USA, and Brazil all fighting to take home that trophy, and it looks like Shane Beshin is on fire.
Well, 3 great moves for Beshin, but wouldn't you know it? After 3 vertical moves, he slips a little bit and goes back down to his knees. But look at Todd Prestige out the back. He gets a second move, throws a lot of spray. And a third, when he throws the tail out, you can see some fins. What a great finish on that wave as Victor Ribas goes right by.
And all of our competitors scrambling for a last wave as we are under a minute left in this heat. Todd Prestige up and riding on what could be the last wave.
Presto does the big tail slide at the end, trying to pull it out for his country. That is it. This event is history, and now it's just up to the judges.
What a spectacular event. The Brazilian, the Australian, the 2 Americans putting on quite a show for not only the spectators here at Huntington Beach, but for the IOC officials visiting. If this thing doesn't make it to the Olympics, I don't know what will. Mike, at the conclusion of this day, we've seen a lot of great surfing. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are that these surfers put it all on the line for themselves, for their teammates, and for their countries. You know, guys like Shane Beshin, who at the end here got a 7.23, he makes a lot of money and he's famous from surfing, but he just looks like he is doing it for other reasons. He looks like he wants to do it for everybody else. And you know, that's a new experience for these guys to have team and country involved in such an individualistic sport. I think it brought out the best in everybody.
Shane Beshin put on a great show, the 95 U.S. Open champion right here at Huntington Beach. It won it, but today it looked like Todd Prestige was on fire as well. Had some problems early on, picks up a 7.17 here.
Yeah, the Australian, he really knows what it takes to win. You see him finishing off the wave here. That was one of his pluses. He got the shore break as opposed to Shane Beshin, but it was Taylor Knox's day. He got that 10 early on in the heat. He never looked back. But it was Victor Ribas who pushed him. Victor in second place from Brazil. What a fantastic surfer with some great moves.
Final results look like this. It's Knox followed by Ribas, Prestige, and Beshin. Let's go down to P2. Who's got our winner?
Thanks, Todd. I'm here with the champion today, Taylor Knox. Taylor, a 10-point ride in the final. Must have felt great.
Yeah, me and Besh were just kind of laughing out there. You know, their waves were coming in, and Victor and Todd already had waves. We had 0 waves, and it was kind of like, oh, well, you know, if it's going to go this way, it's going to go this way. And then that one wave came in, and I knew I had to take it, you know, take it to the point because it'd be probably maybe the last one like it.
You had 2 great moves outside, and then the third one over near the pier, you just let it all hang out.
Yeah, I was either first or fourth, you know. That's about it. That's what I was thinking. I didn't have to get out of the heat. It was either go for it all or go for nothing.
You must be stoked, a big win for the Americans.
Yeah, this is unreal. I just hope we won. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm stoked. It was a great final. All those surfers are top world surfers, so it was like an ASP heat.
Well, congratulations on a great performance today.
Thanks, VT.
When we return to Huntington Beach, California, we'll have the medal ceremony, and we'll find out who takes home the gold in the overall team competition. The ISA World Surf Games have been brought to you by SEMA, Surf Industry Manufacturers Association, and by the ISA, working for the future of surfing. For corporate involvement, please call We are back to Huntington Beach, California, in the conclusion of the International Surfing Association World Surfing Games. Todd Harris along with Mike Lambresi and Peter Townend, and what a day it has been, Mike.
A tremendous event. We've seen some of the best surfing from over 36 countries around the world. It has just been a most spectacular event.
Before we wrap things up from Huntington Beach, California, a final salute to all of our international competitors.
Great. Okay, and now we play.
Todd, coming into this final day, Team USA was down in 5th or 6th place, and it took a spectacular first place in the longboard, the junior and the men's final, to pull out the big win. But they are the overall world champion. Gold for Team USA.
Points were very tight indeed as we go to the overall conclusion, and Team USA edges out Brazil by just over 200 points. Let's go down to Peter Townend with the winning team.
Todd, I got an enthusiastic bunch right here. The US team, they're victorious today. And Bruce Walker, you must be excited. It's been 10 years. You win the big trophy back.
Yeah, extremely excited. You know, we had no idea what the point totals were going to be. We knew that there was at least 4 or 5 teams going for it. And we just said, forget the math. We're going to concentrate on paddling out in heats and getting the job done out in the water. And we just really didn't know till the tail end that we had won this thing. We're absolutely thrilled.
You put in just an incredible performance during the week. The guys tried hard all week, and it comes out at the end with the big victory.
It certainly does. And, you know, we could not have done this without our support staff. The surfers did the surfing, but the logistics of an event like this with 3 sites running simultaneous, we had a coaching staff that had to be on call at all the sites. We had to communicate with each other, and it was a real task, a real effort, a lot of hard work, and I think it's finally feeling like it's paying off.
This must be exciting for you. If we go to the Olympics in Australia, can we win the gold medals?
I think we're feeling pretty strong about that right now, pretty confident, but I think we're going to have to regroup and start from scratch more or less, and that's a whole new story there. So certainly we'll be looking forward to it. I hope we make it into the Olympics.
Well, congratulations to the team today.
Thank you, PT.
So that will conclude the 1996 International Surfing Association's World Surfing Games. We hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. We want to congratulate all of our winners and all of our competitors who traveled around the world to be here at historic Huntington Beach Pier. For Peter Townend and Mike Lambresi, I'm Todd Harris. We'll see you next time right here on Fox Sports.